Today on the Life Surfing Podcast, learning to look deeper within enables authentic inner healing.
That is why it is so necessary, so significant, so decisive that you realize that I should not only just be in touch with what is peripherally there in me, but what is also undercurrently going on. If no questions are there, we will take some moments to bring the attention to some basic factors, which we often do in different areas. One of that is recognizing the need to really turn the attention inward. It is told in so many ways. It has been the orientation in many of the reminders, meditation techniques. But to bring it in living, bring it into the moment-to-moment situations of life. First of all, you need to recognize the urgency for it, the need to bring it into such a intense way in living. Because when you don't understand it, you will not be able to also bring it into living. So first of all, the important thing to realize is that when you are not present to the moment, to that what is going on in you, your inner automatism is pulling your life energy in certain habitual patterns of reaction. It may be just a way to avoid the confrontation, it may be because something is feeling uncomfortable, so one wants to go into another area, or it may be just because it looks so frightening, so unclear. There are 1,001 ways of avoiding the confrontation, and one can always find justifications. So unless you are recognizing the need and the urgency to bring the attention to that what is going on in you, that what is undercurrently taking place in you, without that it cannot bring any basic developments in your life. Because all the judgments you make, all the conclusions you make, all the opinions you have, they are all coming from the basis of your conditionings, your past, your positive and negative experiences which you have made. So, when you clearly look at it, it is your projection. It is your projection through the accumulated idea of the I and the knowledge what is together with it. So you are able to go beyond the entanglement in it and use the knowledge, use the mind, only when you are not unconsciously and automatically identified with it. That is why it is so necessary, so significant, so decisive that you realize that I should not only just be in touch with what is peripherally there in me, but what is also undercurrently going on. The calculations, the fear, the expectations, and even the idea that it's all too much, it's not possible. Be alert about it, because all these are judgments and conclusions based on your conditioning, based on your past. It's not coming from your intelligence, it's not coming from your clarity, it's not coming from your common sense. It is coming from the conditioned way of looking at things. That is why you may be seeing certain things, but you may not be seeing how the subtler undercurrent factors are working in you, and how, when you are not looking at it, you are again falling into the same trap. That is why many people are trying in different ways to get clear, to get free, but they see that they are going on in the same circle of the mind. And then they become desperate, they feel helpless. It is because they don't recognize how subtle the inner process is and how valuable it is to interact with someone who can bring attention to these things to you, who can remind you where you need to look, where you need to bring your attention. That is why when I do all the seminars, we come together like this, or I do the sessions, the sense behind it is to bring the attention to that what you need to see. Because the moment you are able to see and see the nature of the reality, see how it is really working in you, then you are not caught in it in a blind way. Then you can take the further steps to allow clarity, to allow a deepening of consciousness. And the result of that is that your life energy is not caught in the automatic reaction process, and that you don't need to feel like a victim of all these things which are uncleared in you. But you start recognizing, okay, my chance, my responsibility lies in this, that I can mirror everything without identifying with it. You may be remembering that I am bringing the attention in this way on so many occasions, but you also know that how easily it gets forgotten, how easily one just gets pulled into the automatic reaction and one doesn't even consider it. That is why I again and again try to remind you and bring your attention to these undercurrent factors, so that once it becomes so clear to you, so obvious to you, then the further process is much more easy. But till you recognize the urgency, till you recognize it is your capacity, that you have the capacity in you not to follow these things blindly, not to get trapped in the role of the victim. And this is very, very important, because you are not a victim. You are simply in some misunderstandings. You are simply caught up in certain identifications, which when you see clearly, you can go beyond. So bring the attention, first of all, to all that what is apparently there, and then also look what is undercurrently going on. So without identifying, without trying to change yourself into one role or another role, because it's not trying to change yourself from one image to another image, one concept to another concept. First of all, it is bringing attention to see what is all working in you and let it become as much transparent to yourself. And through that, the further developments will happen, which is liberating, which is clearing, which is making it possible for you to see that you have the capacity, you have also the responsibility. So let it become more transparent to you so that you can, in a deeper sense, become a master of yourself rather than continuing as a slave of your conditioning. Because when you don't claim your capacity, you are letting the automatism overtake. And interestingly, that what individually we have to take care, that is the same process also in the development in the world. When the human being is not consciously taking the responsibility to take care of the developments in the world, in each area, then the automatism and the blind unconscious factors overtake, and that is destructive. That is why your individual responsibility and becoming aware of it and claiming it is not only valuable for you, but it's also indirectly contributing to the health, to the healthier development in the world, in the society. This is just something which you can observe by the side. Because once you can get conscious and clear about the nature of your reality, then you also see your connection to the others, connection to the world is much more deeper, much more significant, much more beyond the usual way of categorizing and limiting. So this is very important that it becomes your direct experience, and that will make all the difference for you and indirectly also for the world. So if any questions are there in anyone, we can still take some time. Anyone participating from here or participating from elsewhere.
A question for Bhashkar. Write your questions in the Spotify comments.
If nothing is there, then we sit the next half hour remaining wakeful and present to all what is, without trying to change anything, without trying to hold to anything or get rid of anything. Just remembering not to identify and not to follow the judgments and calculations and undercurrent tendencies, but seeing it all, allowing it to come up and allowing it to pass by. Because when you don't interfere, they don't stay. They don't have then any power over you. As long as you are identifying and reacting, you are caught in it. But when you are just being an observer, you can see them and you can let them also pass by. So during this time when we are sitting the next hour, be with this conscious orientation to be a non-interfering witness to all what is. With this orientation, with closed eyes, we sit the next hour.
The Life Surfing Podcast will be back next week. In the meantime, make sure that you're following us right here on Spotify.